Have to say this year we covered quite a lot of ANTEC cases, and we have two more to finish up before the end of the year. So today we have quite interesting smaller case in terms of the dimensions, but still you can pack some quite interesting hardware inside. Today we're going to talk about ANTEC NX250, and I think with that we almost covered literally every single one of them with the NX series. So with that said, let's check out the specifications, what you could place inside, and the hardware that I got inside, of course, to give you some details on thermals, benchmarks and stuff like that, and going to go a bit with the showcase. So let's go. This case right here is the ANTEC NX250, and we have something a bit different than we had so far. You did have some LEDs in those cases on front or somewhere around, but today we have a case that has an LED right here in the middle, and it looks really nice just because it has a front dust filter painted in white, and it gives more, I would say, reflection of the colors on these intake side panels here and here. And it's quite easy to connect. You just have to connect the SATA power to your power supply, and you have an LED button here on top to adjust the light according to your build inside or according to the color that you desire, and that's it. Now, checking out everything here, we have quite interesting possibilities. First of all, when we're talking about radiator support. Now on front you could go up to 360, and this is remarkable because the case is quite shorter than your usual mid-tower case, and on top you can go with 240 radiator. This is quite interesting because it fits just enough and it won't bother with the RAMs clearance and with the EPS cables on top. Even though I used Kingston Fury Renegade RAMs, and they are perfect fit, just enough for the AIO to fit on top, but everything above that height will definitely block the placement of the radiator, and you'll need to take that into consideration. Now the pipes are quite long with the AIO that I'm using, so they're a bit sticking out, and in that case I would suggest placing the radiator on front, giving a nice circular position of the pipes, or placing the pipes at the bottom so the air doesn't get stuck in the pump. Now on the power supply shroud you have huge openings, so you can flip your power supply however you wish, but here we can place two 120mm fans to blow inside your GPU. Now with this case I didn't place any fans on front because they don't come with any, and I wanted to check out the thermals on the CPU and on the GPU as it is. At the back you get one 120 non-RGB fan, and that's all there is to it. So here is the thing, it can support ATX, micro ATX and mini ITX motherboards. You have possibility to place two 2.5-inch SSDs here on the side next to your motherboard, and you have a hole right in the middle for cable management, so 24-pin or SATA power and data for your SSDs if you decide to mount them there. But then again, if you place the SSDs over there, you'll have some sort of a blockage for SATA connection, 3.0 USB and similar stuff like that. Now, as I'm checking the front panel, it's really distanced from the front chassis, from the front part of the chassis, so you can even manage to place fans on the front and radiator inside, giving you some more clearance for your GPU. Now the CPU cooler support is up to 160mm, which is quite outstanding. Power supply goes up to 185mm with hard drive cage at the bottom, and up to 310mm without hard drive. When we're talking about the bottom part of the hard drive cage, you can go with two 3.5-inch hard drives or one 3.5-inch hard drive and one 2.5-inch SSD. Since I did mention the front part where you place the SSDs, to avoid any cable clutter or anything else and to get actual connection possibility, I would suggest, and as they suggested as well, to place the SSDs on the back, that way giving more clearance on the front for your SATA and 24-pin cable connection. Maximum GPU length is 310 without anything on front. If you place radiator or with fans, that goes 5 centimeters less, so 26 centimeters. But if you place the fans on front and the radiator inside, then you get 2.5 centimeters less. So we're talking about 28.5 centimeters length of the GPU. Now right here I have AMD Ryzen 5 5600G and Sapphire Radeon RX 6600 Pulse, which is quite an outstanding card for 1080p gaming. But I use this configuration just to go with, let's say, full AMD configuration and to get some benchmarks, well, basically temperatures inside this case. But first, before I tell you about thermals, let's check out this. So as you can see, this is how it lights up. This is the effect of the white dust filter, and the LEDs kind of shine back, bounce back, and give a nice illumination here on the sides and even on the inside, because when you check it out from the inside without the fans, of course, it looks quite nice. The whole thing, the whole build is quite outstanding, I would say. Small, compact, you can pack everything inside. The only limitation is basically your GPU, which you need to take into consideration when building everything and take the calculations how it's supposed to go. Now, I didn't use the fans on the front. I placed it as it is, as it comes from the box. I left the 120 at the rear and two 120 on the radiator at the top as an exhaust. So we have only exhaust, no intake at all. So basically the fans are taking the air that comes along, I would say. And now the 5600G with Symphony 240 from ANTEC, after 20-30 minutes of benchmarking in AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, we got 69 Celsius degrees. Not bad. And the GPU went up to 67 Celsius degrees. Now, when you take into consideration you don't have any intake fans, and this is just plain case with additional components inside and additional radiator on top, this is a great combination for the temperatures. If you place, of course, fans for the intake, which would accumulate cold air from the front into the radiator and exhaust, and of course for the GPU, the temperatures would drop most likely around 5 Celsius degrees, so then we would be on 64 Celsius degrees on the AMD Ryzen 5 5600G, and on the GPU we would be around 62 or 63 Celsius degrees, which is, I would say, quite nice. So small compact case, without a doubt. Looking quite nice on front, and I love the look-alike brushed aluminum on front with a nice subtle ANTEC logo on the bottom. Talking about the top connections, the power on button and similar stuff. So we have power on off button, we have the LED button, we have two USB 2.0, USB 3.0, and two 3.5mm jacks for your audio and microphone. Quite simple, I would say, everything that you get, and it gets quite interesting with the price as well. So everything that you get inside this is quite alright. If you go with stock CPU tower cooler, or if you decide to go with CPU tower cooler that is aftermarket, so I don't know, Noctua, ANTEC, Arctic, or whatever, I would suggest just going with additional two 120mm fans on front, or if you go a bit higher, so two 140, because they can fit nicely. That would be quite outstanding build. So guys, today we had a smaller case, interesting case in a budget category, which does perform quite nicely without front fans even placed inside. Nice RGB front with additional possibility to, as you can see, arrange the colors as you wish. So it's all up to you how you want the LEDs to light up. And that's it. ANTEC's NX250 build that is simple, clean, and definitely a recommendation. Check out the links below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future content. I mean, that keeps the channel going, and I really appreciate your support throughout the whole year, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Thanks again, and bye bye.